My name is Emma Key. I'm an undergrad student at St. Leo University in Florida. I am with the two members of the
Islam.
Islam.
We're Muslim.
Muslim, and I'm interviewing them as part of my classwork. I'm doing an interview and finding out the different tradition, what they see between Christianity and Muslim. And they're going to give us an input on their tradition and their religion, background, and history, how things work with them and the difference what they see toward me as being a Christian and what they think would help me to become a Muslim. And I'm with Kalima and Abdullah Muhammad from Florida. And the first question here I do want to address to them is, can you share with me what it means to be a Muslim?
To be a Muslim, Islam is one of the three faiths that, the primary faiths. Like there's Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. And we're all Abrahamic religions. So to be a Muslim is basically to follow a certain covenant that was laid out for Muslims, and to walk in the way, because we consider ourselves Sunni Muslims. And so basically what we do is we walk the path that was laid out by Prophet Muhammad, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And that means peace be upon him. So, so basically we strive, you know how Christians have that little bumper sticker that says, what would Jesus do? So we have a series of books called the Sunnah, which is the way. And it basically lays out how Prophet Muhammad, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, how he did a lot of different things. And so, like for instance, we bathe,
wake up
the way,
sleep, the way we eat, the way we bathe, the way we.
It just sort of helps to guide us.
So would that say as a Muslim, is it the same way as a Christian would look at it as fasting at a certain time and eating certain foods and drinking certain?
Yes. As a Muslim, one of the 5 pillars of Islam is fasting. And so we have the holy month of Ramadan, where we observe a fast, similar to Christians who fast. But the Islamic fasting is from sun up to sundown. And we prepare for fasting when it's the month of Ramadan with a pre-dawn meal. You wake up and you have a small meal before the day starts. And we fast from food, from water, from sex, and, worldly things that may distract you from the religion.
So if like Christianity, or a lot of us, we fast sometime for 40 days. We only drink water during that whole 40 days and no food at all. Do y'all participate in stuff like that also? Or?
Well, during the month of Ramadan, that's usually a 28-day because we follow a lunar calendar. And whereas Christians follow more of a Gregorian calendar where Christmas is going to be on December 25th every year. Mm-hmm. The holiday for Muslims and Jewish people, they move, because of the lunar calendar. And so for the month of Ramadan, which is usually about 28 days, we fast during that time.
So in your Ramadan, on the type of calendar you all use, it maybe in March, April, something like that?
it actually moves.
So it's
because-
different.
Yes, the months, because it's a shorter, the lunar calendar is a 28-day calendar, whereas the Gregorian calendar is a 30 or 31-day month. And to make it all work out, there's a leap year.
Yeah.
And, sort of to even things out. But for us, we have certain, we have months, Islamic months, and one of them, the most holy of the Islamic months, is Ramadan.
And also, when it comes to fasting, although we do have schedule fasting, you can participate in that at your convenience. The purpose of it is to bring you closer to God. So it doesn't necessarily has to be during the month of Ramadan. You have individuals who may fast because of the Sunnah Mondays and Thursdays. I believe it's Mondays and Thursdays. And should you feel the need to move closer to God, you can pick whatever day, week, month. If you want to do it for more than 40 days.
So as a new beginner, as becoming a Muslim, and a person has never fasted before, how would they go about doing that with a new beginner?
We ask that they, for one, there's no compulsion. So we understand that with being new, there's a lot of things that we expect you to recognize, but it's at your convenience. When Kalima was a Muslim at first, there was no one touching her perms after she paid X amount of money, so she didn't cover. That's okay. She grew into it. When it comes to fasting, not everybody can fast 30 days, and there's certain restrictions. There's certain individuals who cannot fast because of their health situation. So it's one of those things where it's not meant to punish. It's meant to bring you closer, and again, focus. And so we ask, when it comes to new Muslims, it may be seen as a lot of rules, but it's something in which you build to, you grow to.
That's understandable. That's basically like a Christianity. Okay, what is the most important to being a Muslim in you all point of view?
Well, I think for me, there are the 5 pillars, and I mentioned that earlier.
What are the 5 pillars named?
The 5 pillars of Islam. The first pillar is the declaration of faith. And that's something, as you're becoming a Muslim, some people call it the Kalima to Shahada. And there's a statement that you say to become Muslim. You recognize that there's no God but Allah, and that the Prophet Muhammad is his messenger. And once you declare that the Kalima to Shahada, you're then considered a Muslim. And part of being a Muslim is learning from other Muslims, because you have lots of questions in the beginning. You have a lot of things that you think you know that may be based on biases that you've learned from the media and other things. So the most important thing is learning what it means. The second pillar is Salat. And Muslims pray 5 times a day.
Yes.
So that's very important.
On that point right there, where the prayer comes in 5 times a day, is it the same prayer you praying all 5 times during that day, or is it a different prayer every time you pray?
For the prayers, there are rakats, which are sort of the numbers of times that that are included in certain prayers during certain times of the day. So in the morning, you would pray 2 rakats. And like in Christianity, you have the Our Father prayer, which is sort of the base prayer. In Islam, we have the base prayer.
And then you have
And
then you have dua.
Yeah, you have the base prayer. Then there are certain positions that we get in, and so a lot of people will see Muslims do sajda, which is when we're down on the ground with our head, our forehead, our nose, our hands, our knees, and our toes being in contact with the ground. But Al-Fatiha is the opening prayer of the Quran. And so during every rakat, you do Al-Fatiha. And then you do another surah or another part from the Quran.
Is these prayers something like the creed? What Christianity called the creed?
What's the creed?
Like in word finding, and you searching searching your soul, your spiritual being, your nature for what you want in this tradition, this religion, and want to know more about it to feast upon.
So the actual salat is very regimented to the extent that there are certain movements, physical movements that you make during the salat. There are a certain number of times that you do the rakats that I was talking about. There are certain times during the day that you do, those prayers. But there are also du'as, which you can, it's very similar to how Christians, if something is going on, and you just, during the course of a day, although a Muslim prays 5 times a day, that's what the requirement is, you pray all day long. When we talk about things that happen in the future, we say, Inshallah. If it's the will of Allah, that's a small prayer.
That's small,
right?
But it means a lot.
But right, and so there are du'as. If you find out that somebody's not doing well, you do a prayer for them, and you just talk to Allah and, ask him to cover that person.
Is that the same thing as saying heal that person, bring a healing upon their body,
right?
their life?
So you can do that too, and so it doesn't have to be just the 5 prayers that we talk about.
And we pull from certain du'as from the Quran that addresses that. One of the things she talked about was it being regimented. This is why no matter where you go, anywhere throughout the world, that regimented portion of the prayer, doesn't matter whether I was in Timbuktu, Japan, or whatever, we all follow that same and that time schedule. But when it comes to the dua part, that's often sometimes pulled from the Quran as well. This is memorizing a certain segment of the Quran that will address, like she was saying.
Is that the same thing as that, what I told you, Quran 2.335, I think it was?
Surah.
Yeah,
we talked about that before. I don't actually recall that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
But there are certain things in the Quran, just like in the Bible, that address certain aspects of life, right? And so in the Quran, there are different areas of the Quran that you may, pray that surah.
Like my grandmother used to pull from Psalms a lot, because Psalms was full of prayers to address certain things. Well, the Quran is that way as well. So you have your regimented, and then you have that second part. You may pull from a particular section of the Quran to address that.
Oh, okay.
And,
So it's basically like Christianity when it comes to prayer and reading out the...
And that's where there's more similarity than differences. The differences are, I won't say it's not much of a difference. As far as us praying, we all pray. As far as how we pray, it doesn't matter whether you stand, with us, we just have it more regimented to what we do
Okay, do y'all believe in saying Jesus or just God or both of them?
Well, Muslims, to be a Muslim, you have to believe in Prophet Jesus, right? But we refer to him by the name that he was known as in his time, which is Isa, I-S-A. And there, we believe so much in the miracles and the things that he did that the Quran refers to one of the first miracles that he performed as an infant when his mother returned to her people with a baby, and the people were questioning her. He spoke and about the virtue of his mother as an infant, and that's a miracle. And so it was amazing to learn new things about him that I didn't know about as a Christian, because I reverted to Islam in 1992. So I was a Christian prior to that. And we were talking about the pillars of Islam, and there are two more that I didn't mention. And one is zakat, which is charity. And Muslims are required to pay charity. And it's, how Christians do tithes. So
y'all don't pay tithes, you just give to charity?
Right. And so the
term tithes and zakat, it's
very similar.
It can be in the form of a percentage of what you earn, but more importantly, it can also mean your time, and which is correct.
And given to the poor.
And that can be in many different forms.
You feed them,
them.
and then orphans have a high place in the religion, helping orphans. So, and there's a lot in the Quran that speaks to the blessings to do that. And the fifth and last of the pillars is Hajj, or the pilgrimage. And Muslims are required, if they can afford,
at least one,
they're required to make a pilgrimage to Mecca.
Okay, who is Mecca when you say Mecca?
Mecca is in Saudi Arabia, and the house.
That's another island, a land you're talking about. You donate and y'all give to support them and help them out.
No.
As a church, it's not.
Pause it.
No, it always got to be.
Yeah, and so what you hear in the background is, no, what happens is we have a Google. And so when you asked the question, Google was answering about Mecca, because it is one of the two holy cities in the country of Saudi Arabia, and the other is Medina. So Muslims perform a pilgrimage and they go to Mecca.
Y'all go to Medina more than Mecca, right?
No. We go to Mecca for the pilgrimage, and that's where remember the story where Abraham was given, he went because Allah had charged him with taking his son and slaughtering his son, but went, and so he, as a follower, he was doing what God told him to do. So when he got to the place where he was supposed to do it, there was an offering of a lamb that was provided for him instead of his son. And so a house was built there. And when you see Muslims who face the east to pray, we're all facing from all over the world. We're facing toward that house, which is the Kaaba. And so we're all facing there. And that's where Muslims, when they do the pilgrimage, they go there. And, there are different aspects.
But this is required of y'all at least once during a year, right?
No, once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime, okay.
If you're able to afford it.
Okay.
And
you
also
receive
there's
blessings.
health. If you're unable to do it but can't afford it, then that obligation is sort of passed to your children.
Oh.
And you can fund them to go. Or you can fund someone else to go.
And that's what I was about to say. The one of the greatest blessings is when, if you can't go, funding someone else to go, or family or otherwise. So,
but they have to be in the Muslim community,
Right.
religion
They're
to
Muslims.
you
Right.
would not be able to access that particular area unless
You are
you're
Muslim.
registered.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you wish that others would know about your religion?
Islam is a religion of peace. And there are oftentimes lots of misinformation in the media.
Yes.
And just in all religions, you have people who who follows the religion in a way that's peaceful. You also have other people who are dealing with some type of conflict, either internal or external, and things they do may not be in accordance with.
Would you all say that would be the same way like Christians do sometimes? They justify themselves with the word or the tradition or what you're supposed to be doing and doing?
We ask that a lot of times individuals take the word from third parties when, if there's anything I wanted them to know about it, is that they take the time to conduct the research themselves. That's the only way you're truly going to understand it.
Yeah.
Taking someone else's
But
word is
when
the easy way.
when you take someone in, just say you and your wife take a couple in to lead and guide them to Allah's tradition and His ways, and to accept Muslim, would you buy things or give them materials to help them learn for themselves and reading and discovering?
That's what we mandate.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
Like for new.
If anyone
Most
wants
people
a
call
Quran,
it converts, but we prefer to call people who are becoming Muslim. We call them reverts, right? They're reverting back to their
natural.
And so to buy or to provide a Quran for that person, when they're reading that Quran, it's blessings for me too.
Okay.
To give them a prayer rug. When they use that prayer rug, they're blessings for me too. So, but you want people to not have, you want to remove all of the challenges that they would have initially. And so for women, there's a certain requirement for covering when you pray. And so I have abayas and hijab, scarf. And so I will give that to new Muslims. Like, hey, here's something that you can wear. Just to make it easy for them.
More comfortable, so they won't feel uncomfortable or unease about joining in.
And again, by doing the research, they become better aware of what the purpose of it is. Oftentimes cleaners ask, well, why do I have to wear this? What's the purpose behind it? When they truly understand it, from what she explains to them, but at the same time, we ask them to go to the Quran. The Quran explains it. men have requirements as well as far as dress is concerned.
Okay, let me ask you something. Would you say I'm at fault because I'm not a Muslim, but my child asked for a Quran and I bought him one?
No.
Will I be at
The
fault?
Quran makes reference starting out, which was one of the things I found interesting. It's in the Quran reflects to your faith as the people of the book, and it made it clear. Again, if you are a member of the people of the book, whether it be Christian, Catholic, or you have to abide by that covenant.
Yes.
And with us, our covenant is slightly different, but more similar than different.
Yeah.
And so, no, the when it talks about the people of the book, there's nothing wrong. My mother was Baptist, and but at the same time, when I met Kalima, she was Catholic. We did research and we chose the covenant of Islam.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but when you read the Quran, it talks about the Injil, the people of Judaism. It's all in there. We have more in common than the differences.
So you would say that Islam is being misjudged a lot by, I won't say ignorant people, because that's not the right word.
Well, ignorant is okay,
but
because they just don't know.
Ignorance,
Yeah,
it's like
you
the
know.
word. It fits to the point to where simply they're unaware. But we turn that word ignorant into something negative when it's not negative.
No.
So, and to your question about if you're a Christian and your child asks to read the Quran, I would encourage you to refer them, or for you as the parent, to go to the local mosque and ask them for a Quran, and they could provide that for you. And if